Hi, my name is Zbigniew Łomnik and this is my channel where I review old cars, interesting cars and just cheap ass shit boxes that no one cares about. Just take a look at this driving position, how strange it is. Okay, the steering wheel is large because it's not servo assisted, of course, but the pedals are just so close to the seat. When the steering wheel is here, you expect the pedals to be much further to the front, but they are here. So someone driving this car needs long hands and short legs. So it was called a car for chimpanzees. The cars built before 1972 were more comfortable to drive for a tall person because they had a shifter in here. Then the shifter was moved to the floor, which was of course cheaper in production. Okay, I get it, but for a taller person it's very uncomfortable to change gears because you need your leg placed like this to press on the gas, and then you need to move your leg to the left to make way to move the lever. And when you move your leg to the left, you touch the steering wheel and you cannot maneuver. So it's either changing gears or maneuvering. You cannot do both of these things at the same time. This is the gadget that everyone loved in Poland, loved back then and loves it now, but now for nostalgic reasons. The gear shift knob with an ancient plastic golden car surrounded with fake amber. It looks really cool. I think it's the kind of a gadget that's only known in Poland. I haven't seen something like this outside Poland ever. One gauge that found its way to the interior of the 125P in 1975 along with the facelift was the rev counter. It was placed here, and it's placed in a really strange way because it's actually facing the passenger and not the driver. So the passenger has a better look at the rev counter than the driver has. There is one test that I always perform in my videos, and that's the backseat test. I put the driver's seat in a position that's comfortable for me, and then I try to sit in the back and see if I can fit in. And well, I can fit in this car quite comfortably, and there is enough legroom and headroom for me, but the rear seat is very soft, and when you sit on it, it just goes down like this, so you end up sitting with your bum down and your knees up. It's not a very comfortable position after all. And there was one more thing that I hated about this car, and I hate it until today. It was the upholstery, and in the summer it gets so hot and so sticky that you need to put a blanket on the seat not to get burnt because of this material. But there are also some nice details, like this little light. It indicates that the door is open, so when the car stands on the shoulder of the road because it just broke down another time, the oncoming drivers may see that the doors are open even in the night. We couldn't even dream of having the Italian 1.6 double overhead camshaft engine in our car, so we had to stay with the 1.3 liter early 60s engine with the overhead valve and the camshaft in the engine block. It was not that bad until in 1975 we decided to enlarge the displacement from 1.3 to 1.5, and it was not the greatest decision because maybe the engine had a little bit more power, like 7 horsepower more, but it started to idle rough and it became less reliable. So a car equipped with an earlier engine, the 1.3, just like this one, was actually of higher value at the used car market than the 1.5 because it was just more reliable. The earliest cars had a more simple braking system with just one circuit that was then changed to double circuit braking system, one for the front and one for the rear. This particular car is a 1977 with a smaller 1.3 liter engine that was left in the range even after the large facelift of 1975. And as it is 1977, it features a trunk lock, so I am now going to open the trunk and show you how impractical it is. Several body types were produced in the FSO during this 24-year production run. The basic one was a sedan, just like this. There was also a station wagon, or an estate if you're from Great Britain, and a pickup in and a pickup in two different wheelbases, the short one and the long one, the short bed and the long bed. And I have no idea how to open this trunk because neither of those keys fit. Okay, it's okay. There you go. What do we have here? Well, we have some interesting parts like this taxi badge. This car was the most popular taxi cab in Poland for, I think, 15 years. Most of the taxi drivers chose the 125p because it was one of very few cars that you can actually buy some spare parts for. And in communist Poland, the taxi drivers were the kings of the road. People were queuing at the side of the streets waiting for a taxi, and when the taxi came, it was the driver who said where does he want to go. So he just stopped at the queue, opened the window, and he said like, I am going to the district of Mokotów. Anyone wants to go to Mokotów? And several people from the queue said, yeah, I want to go in, and they went in and just drove off to Mokotów. And if you wanted to go to some other districts of the city, you needed to wait until the driver that just came in said the name of the district, and then you had your chance. All right, let's drive the Polski Fiat 125p. Let's start the engine and get it out on the road. The seatbelts are of fixed type, so not very safe, but I will fasten them anyway. When you compare it to the cars built in the 1950s in the communist countries, it was just like a car from another planet. It was a touch of opulence. It was a symbol of wealth. I cannot stretch this enough to say how much better was the 125 than anything we have ever produced before in Poland. With normal Western cars, it was like this. The earlier models were the worst. They had some issues that were usually fixed with the facelifts, or they were just fixed with every model year change. So the latest models were the best ones. And it was totally the other way around with the 125p. The earliest models built under Italian license were the best ones. And then with the overall worst condition of the Polish economy, the quality also went down and down and down, and the latest models were the worst. So now, when I look at the classifieds and I see the late model 125p valued about 4,000, 5,000 euros, I just scratch my head and think, why would anyone pay such a crazy amount of money for this piece of crap? And I know that people buy these cars for nostalgic reasons. The prices went up because the people that were young when this car was new can now afford it and try to pretend that they are young again. Driving a late 125p is not a pleasant experience. This car does not have any Italian flair. The steering wheel has a large play, and it always had a large play even when the car was new. The engine is quite noisy, and at higher speeds you can also hear the rear differential whining. And these are not bugs, these are features of this car. You cannot do anything about it. Well, for a short Sunday drive in a classic car, this ride is fine, but I cannot imagine driving it on a daily basis because it's just too small. I can't feel my legs after half an hour of driving. There's one feature that all the Polish drivers know. While driving this car, these lights just come up in a random way, and it's called a Christmas tree. So that's basically all I have to tell you about the Polski Fiat 125p. It was the single most important car in the Polish car industry after the war. The earliest ones were the best, and the latest cars were just of horrendous build quality. I can't say that I despise it that much. Maybe I don't have the best memories with this car, but this car, the 125p, has a large fan base in Poland, and if you would like to have an unusual classic, you can search in Polish classifieds for a decent 125p valued around 4,000 euros. And that's probably a car that you won't see at the car shows outside Poland, maybe bar for Czech Republic or Hungary. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for my English and I'm sorry for all mistakes that I have made. Y les prometo que la próxima vez voy a grabar un video en español. Hasta luego a todos. Adiós.